Today I fucked up by having my mom take me to the ER for blue balls. This happened about 4 years ago when I was 16, just after getting my first GF. Thought I knew everything there was about sex and sexuality after all the hours I spent researching in preparation for what I thought was coming to me. I was very, very wrong. She came over one day after school while my mom was gone and we dry humped like clothed bunnies for about an hour or so. She had work so she left shortly after and then I hopped on Xbox ready to brag to my friends about all the ass I just grabbed. About 30 minutes later, my balls started to hurt, excruciatingly so. I assumed it was just from getting my balls smooshed for so long and that it would pass quickly. It didn't. By the time my mom came home, it had gotten intolerable. I laid on the floor of my room with baggy boxers and my legs wide open. Any movement or touch was awful. Thing is, I had heard of blue balls but I always thought it was just a metaphorical thing to describe when you thought you were gonna get lucky, but didn't. When I looked up incredible pain in my balls, all that came up was stuff about infections and circulation being cut off. Scary stuff. I guess no medical diagnosis for whatever blue balls is comes up when you look that up because it's just assumed that you know you have blue balls, if you have blue balls. I had been scared enough by the search results to justify going through the embarrassment of telling my mom my balls were in pain and I needed to see a doctor. I've always been a known mild masochist to my family in how much I love boxing. So when she asked how bad it was on a scale of 1 to 10, and I said 9, she took it seriously. We rushed over to the hospital and got me checked in ASAP. Asked my mom if she could stay in the waiting room and she was cool with it. After being led into a room by the nurse, the doctor examined my testes and began asking me all sorts of questions about my pain and symptoms. When he asked if I had had any sexual activity recently, I reluctantly admitted I was dry humping with my GF earlier that day. He paused, and asked if I ever ejaculated at any point. I said no. At least 60 years old with a completely white comb over and huge glasses, my doctor gets stoic and asks, "Well son, do you think it's possible that you just have blue balls?" I froze. What? He raised an eyebrow, smirked a little and said if you don't ejaculate after sexual activity, it's possible to get what is commonly known as blue balls, where the testicles are inflamed after all the blood that's gone to them without ever releasing. Or something like that. Maybe I would have started to laugh if my balls didn't hurt so damn much. Instead I responded, "That's a thing?" He laughed a little and said yes, he's afraid it is. I asked what I could do. He said take an ibuprofen or masturbate. So I did both. A pee after 10 hours of driving has nothing on the relief I felt then. I tried lying to my mom and said it was just an inflammation from laying on them wrong. But she saw through it and said that if she was paying the copay for the appointment she wanted the truth. So, I told her how I got something called blue balls from messing around with GF while she was gone. She laughed that I didn't know what blue balls were, and wasn't aware I was sexually active yet. On the drive home, she asked if I needed any condoms. Cringing, I bitterly said no thank you. She told me that if I'm going to be sexually active then I need to be safe. I muttered that we weren't having actual sex. Well then how did this happen? God, can you please just leave it, we were just grinding and stuff, that's how. Short pause. Well then make sure you masturbate or something after sweetie so that this doesn't happen again. Mom has always had little inhibition censoring stuff with me, but that has forever taken the cake. My fault for being a dumbass though, I guess. Too long didn't read. Teenage me messed around with girl for first time. Didn't know blue balls actually hurt. Had my mom drive me to the ER. Had to tell her I had been messing with GF and didn't know what blue balls were. My mom recommended I masturbate. Edits, extra and first tongue. Edits 2, meant masochist, not sadist. Edits 3, thanks for all the love, smile, sorry to all the other guys who know the pain, frown for everyone who has commented doubt on the existence of blue balls, you are a wretched soggy piece of cauliflower. That is an insult to all men, and apparently in a different form, women, who have experienced this. Couple pieces of clarification, I was given an ultrasound and a pee test and I think even a blood test for some reason during my examination, both during and before the doc started asking me all the questions. I had to wait for them to confirm that I was fine before I could leave, which sucked because I was embarrassed as shit and just wanted to go home. The doctor didn't just bank on the fact that I was dry humping and didn't finish earlier. Dude, your mom's just happy, nothing it's seriously wrong. Being said, expect this to come up at your wedding. You should have taken the condoms. It would ease your parents' minds, and your wallet. My sister thought it would be hilarious to gift me a huge box of condoms and a large beer glass when I graduated high school to prepare me for college. I opened these gifts in front of family and friends, many of whom were from my church. For whatever reason, my mom decided to take the condoms away from me. I found them about a year later in her bathroom closet. No real point to this story, just thought I'd share since it felt appropriate. I'm 30, in a 4-year relationship and about to have a kid. Until just now I also thought blue balls was just slang or so for being touchy-feely with someone but striking out and not getting laid. 39 here, and I was also unaware. How this never happened to me after all those visits to the strip club, I'll never know. Probably the only mom to ever utter this to a son. Well then make sure you masturbate or something after, sweetie, so that this doesn't happen again. Your mom is a legend. But mom, both my arms are broken. Edit, thanks for the silver. I can't get over the doctor. I just picture him sitting 2 feet away from you, like a dad giving a nice lecture to his 4-year-old son. Well son, take glasses off / do you think you could have blue balls? LMFAO. Today I fucked up by befriending a lobster. So this isn't really today, but rather a summary of my last couple of lobster-filled days and how I made a 150-mile journey to put a lobster in the sea. So I'm a student, and since coming to university I eat a lot of fish, like 5/6 times a week. The only way to afford this is to prepare my food from scratch, including preparing my own fish. 15-pound salmon can feed a man for 2 weeks. So I'm not squeamish. It also means I have a healthy working relationship with my local fishmonger. Every single trip, he will have some wild caught, exotic, fancy, or otherwise intriguing catch. There will be a little barter. I'll probably buy it. Wednesday. This day is no different. I walk in looking for some coley, great alternative to cod, please try it, sustainable, when the fishmonger is like, ah my friend. Only the best for you? I have the special stock out back. Of course I want the special stock. So he goes out back, and brings back this little fella. Bo, today I fucked up a blue, with just one antenna. He puts it on the table. It wiggles that little antenna at me. And in that moment, I decided that the lobster in front of me was special. Say that I'll decide if I want it tomorrow. I go home distressed. I don't know why. But in those small moments I emotionally connected with a fucking lobster. I go on a panic 2-hour frenzy. This is the middle of exam season. I should be revising, looking for tanks, looking up lobster information, trying to work out how I will hide a lobster in my room. Eventually I realize that there is no way of keeping this lobster. I try to find friends and family with tanks that have no fish, or someone that wants a pet lobster. Nothing. I decide to purchase it, and try to find it a home, and if not, quickly put it down with a knife, instead of boiling, which I am confident, having read the scientific literature, causes a lobster distress and pain. Thursday. Feel at this point I should inform you that my confused girlfriend now knows I am getting a pet lobster. Now before I go to the fishmongers, I head to the supermarket. I need supplies to transport the lobster, and if I have to put it down, it will have a nice meal before it dies. I purchase the following. 1. Sea salt. 2. Ice. 3. Salmon, cod, prawns, broccoli, carrots, stuff that the internet said lobsters like. 4. Tea towels. 5. Apple juice, to help me with the emotional stress I'm currently in. I go to pick it up. The fishmonger, ex-chef, asks if I want it boiled. I say no, and that I will cook it myself. He gives me seaweed to keep him comfy and hydrated in. I take it home. Turns out the lobster is male. I name him Qui-Gon because there's always a bigger lobster. Take apart my plastic drawers, and pop him in one of them, along with the seaweed and food. I play some underwater sounds I downloaded on my phone. I take pictures and post pictures of him on pet sites on Facebook looking for a home and or a tank. My third plan was now to house him at my parents' home. At this point my family knows I own a pet lobster. Oh, I have a 24-hour bug and feel very sick? Fantastic. Wait. It's Thursday. I meant to be making the 2-hour journey back home today. I have to be back to go to Comic-Con on Friday morning. But this little guy needs a home. Being in a tank isn't good. He needs the ocean. Anyways, me and Qui-Gon have a nice day. I work out a plan to get him to the sea. I'm too ill to make the 6-hour journey to Skegness. However, I can make an hour-and-a-half journey to my hometown, and my friend has offered to drive me the other hour-and-a-half to Southend the following evening. I put him on the side, fill the box with ice, place the first tea towel over the ice, then put him back in the box with some food, then food and seaweed. Finally I put the second tea towel over the box to protect him from the sun. I've made up artificial salt water to the correct concentrations to splash him with. Not great, but should keep him hydrated. Lots of train delays, tram delays, bus delays. Should be home at 8, I get back at 10:30. Me and Qui-Gon made a lot of friends. Apparently you get attention when carrying a lobster on a 110-mile train journey. He's eaten some fish, seems happy. No signs of stress such as tail thrashing. I get him home and put the box back in the fridge. Seems a happy lobster. I check on him before bed. Happy lobster. Friday. I wake up at like 7. I check on Qui-Gon. He is responsive and seems okay. I splash him a little more. I head to London Comic-Con stuff, whilst filled with anxiety over his well-being. I get back, my friend informs me that there is a fish center that can take him, about 30 miles away, and keep him in suitable conditions. I agree on the condition that he will be released in Cornwall, where he first came from. Sadly, when I got home, he was unresponsive. After trying to get him to do stuff, gently brushing his eyes, unclipping his claws, etc. It's clear he is dead. I'm legitimately upset. Fully grown, 6 feet, bearded man, may have cried over a lobster. However, he did eat the salmon and cod, and displayed no signs that he had thrashed or tried to escape, or was otherwise stressed. It seems that he died whilst numbed from the cold of the fridge, hopefully asleep. I wrapped him in the seaweed so it would be like home, and went to the nearest lake, and eased him into the water. He didn't last long enough to get him proper help. I literally spent Wednesday to Saturday with my life revolving around looking up information, caring for, seeking help for, and transporting a lobster. I do not like animals. I do not want pets. Qui-Gon was a special fella. Too long didn't read, avid meat/fish eater. Emotionally bonded with a lobster in a fishmonger's. Went on 120-mile, 193 kilometers, journey in an attempt to return him to the sea. He died. Now I am sad. However, he had a nice couple of days eating fish and making friends. For those who asked, here are some pics. Holy fucking shit, he even made a post 4 days ago asking if lobsters are affected by fresh water versus salt water. Guy is dedicated. My boyfriend's parents took my kindergartner to Red Lobster and she came back gushing about how cool it was they had 3 pet lobsters. I never could break the news to her. R.I.P. Pinchy. When I was about 6, on a family vacation to the sea, we stopped in a seafood restaurant. I loved the lobsters in the aquariums. Big brother and big sister were arguing. I didn't know what about. Dad says to me, you pick a lobster. I had no idea, when I pointed to my new best lobster friend in the tank, that I was actually singling him out for a fast boil. 20 minutes later, when the lid was lifted, I turned green and almost passed out. He was such nice friendly lobster. Poor Qui-Gon. You did your best though. Today I fucked up by wiping my face with a towel I found under my brother's bed. This happened literally 20 minutes ago. I'm staying at my older brother's place for the week and we decided to go for a run around his neighborhood. Given the Florida humidity, we were both sweating like pigs when we got back to his apartment. He needed to shower first since he had work, so I searched for a towel to wipe my face with in the meantime. I looked in his bedroom and saw a towel under the bed. This should have told me it was dirty, but given how sweaty I was, I didn't think twice and just wiped it all over my face. When he was done with his shower, he came in and saw the towel sitting on the dresser, and asked me if I had just used it. Yeah, I wiped my face with it. Why? Look on his face when he told me I just wiped my face with his cum rag is something I'll never forget. He's still hysterically laughing about it. I'm looking forward to the day where I can too. Too long didn't read, I used my brother's jizz rag to wipe my sweaty face. Don't even have to read the description on this one. When the title is too long, didn't read. If a towel's on the floor, assume the worst, especially for your face. Under the floor and under the bed. Yeah, clean towels are stored under the bed all the time everywhere I've stayed. SMH, woman face palming. How did you not automatically know what a dirty towel under your brother's bed was used for? Wasn't it like, at least he should have felt its crusty texture as he was wiping it across his face? It's okay because you and him are related. Today I fucked up by getting the money shot from my brother.